Welcome to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, where you can learn and be inspired by real-world examples of how technology is transforming businesses and reshaping industries in a language everyone can understand. Here is your host, Neil C. Hughes.
Welcome back once again to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, where every day we try and demystify complex technologies and talk about them in a language that everyone can understand, which hopefully will then increase understanding, increase adopt and drive technology advances forward. And from the conversations that I have with you all, I know you all email me and you send me direct messages on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, all those usual places. And one of the big things that I keep hearing is, Neil, NFTs, I just don't get it. So I wanted to try and demystify that world a little bit today, and I found the perfect guest to do just that. His name is Jonathan Chen, and he's from a company called Creaticles, which is a custom NFT marketplace, which essentially is a first-of-its-kind custom NFT request platform that is connecting talented creators with individuals and businesses in everything from providing NFT asset for your product, business, personal brand, or even meme contests to engage fans. In a nutshell, anyone can request their NFT needs and receive a variety of submissions. From a wealth of talented creators. And most importantly, at a price you can afford. So with the scene set, buckle up and hold on tight as I beam your ears all the way to the US, where Jonathan Chen is not only going to demystify the world of NFTs, but is also going to tell us all about Creaticles and how you might be able to use it too. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. My name is Jonathan Chen, and I'm the co-founder and the head of operations of Creaticles. So my background is actually in biochemical engineering, and I had some experience in project management before being brought onto this project. My co-founders were an incredible idea guy. He has just the best imagination and is able to think of all of these out-of-the-box ideas, as well as one of the best computer engineers, programmers that I know personally. Both of these guys are brilliant individuals, and they just needed someone to keep their heads on straight. So that's what they brought me on for.
Now, Creaticles is a custom NFT marketplace. But before we find out more about that, I've got to ask, biochemical engineering, project management, NFTs, how did all those worlds collide for you? There's got to be a story there, right?
Yeah, funnily enough, I was going to be going into music performance in college.
Wow.
Yeah. And, my dad being Asian and all pushed me towards the engineering side. And I kind of agreed with him. I thought that organization and critical thinking were one of those, or a few of those skills that I could train up. So I joined engineering more as a stepping stone rather than as a career. And as such, I always found the crypto field super interesting. I've been investing since a very long time ago, and I've been keeping an eye on the technology itself. So when I had the opportunity to join the space, I of course said immediately yes.
And if you've been investing for some time, I've got to ask about crypto winter. How are you faring in all of this?
Yeah, crypto winter happens every now and then.
Yeah.
The last one was 2017-ish. As the OGs know that, there's a quote by Warren Buffett that I think of is, be greedy when others are fearful and be fearful when others are greedy. This time is, it's temporary. I think timing the market is something that a lot of people try, and a lot of people try to sell others on, either in coursework or this and that, or like products. And it never works, right? It never works. Honestly, the best thing to do right now is to average down if you're into that, or just hold because it will be going back up. Downturns are temporary. The economy will always recover.
100% with you on that. It's always baffled me how when things are going great and everything's triple the price that it should be, that's the moment when people are queuing up to buy. I mean, what's all that about?
I think it's a lack of confidence. And I'm saying that including myself in that. It's a very, very scary thing to see like this huge momentum downwards and think, okay, now is the time to buy, because it's a very counterintuitive thing, right? Yeah. But when everyone is hyped, throwing awesome crypto parties in Paris and Barcelona, and it's in the middle of the bull market, you want to join in on that, right? You want to be part of the big boys. But what they don't understand is that the way the big boys got started is investing in times like these.
Yeah.
That's the big secret that people don't want you to know.
Yeah, and it's such an easy lesson to learn, but
Yeah.
incredibly hard at the same time. And of course, it was this path that led you to Creaticles, and there will be people listening from your community and also people hearing about you for the first time. So can you just offer a brief overview of what it is and also tell listeners a little bit more about your mission?
Absolutely. So Creaticles is kind of like the 99 Designs or the Fiverr of NFT space. So people are able to come onto our site and either source some high quality art from our verified artists. We have about 500, 600 plus right now. Or you can use our platform as kind of a community engagement tool. So we've run contests with Axie Infinity, with Harmony, MakerDAO. We just finished one with Meaties. That was a huge. They just sourced custom art, or in Meaty's case, they did badges for like community engagement. For Axie Infinity, it was fan art. You could do a community vote. And it's just like a fun way to engage your community. His mission is to establish a safe space for artists to grow their reputation and to really flourish, because it's really, really, really hard to get into NFT art creation, not just the art itself, although it is obviously. But unless you have a name or already a following, it's really no easy way for you to get into the space. So that's one of the reasons why we started Creaticles. The other reason is that we found that there isn't any product or service out there right now that does custom NFTs. And that's something that my co-founders and I have always been hearing about is, hey, do you know any artists that would be able to do like a custom NFT for me? Or, hey, do you know any like service that could do this? So we decided to address both of those issues by making Creaticles.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because when I was reading up on you guys, I understood straight away that anyone can source custom NFTs through these contests. So can you tell me about the contests and how they work?
Absolutely. So the contest is pretty simple. You connect a MetaMask wallet or any other wallet that we allow on our app. You give a title, a description, as well as a budget, and then how many winners you're looking for. And then you can be as vague as you'd like to give people creative control over the project, or you can ask for something very, very, very specific. And then you set a deadline, and then that's it. Our platform will handle the escrow of the payment, will handle the minting of the contract. Everything will be taken care of. It's super streamlined.
And are there any examples you can share of a successful contest, just to help people listening that think, oh, okay, I could do just that. That's the kind of thing that I'm looking for. Is there any example you could share?
Absolutely. So we've had a couple individuals actually looking for just art, Yeah. So we've had like digital profile pictures. We've had like cartoon chibi versions of themselves. Some of the big protocols and projects we've worked with, just mentioned Needy, they have like a badge system for different achievements in their community. We just wrapped that up. We'll be announcing the winners very, very shortly. But some of the art is actually incredible. Some other ones I can think of off the top of my head. MakerDAO, they had a clean token initiative, clean money initiative. That's what it was. And they said, it's open to interpretation. Just send us your best art. And some of the submissions we've got were incredible. We have a really talented community.
You really do have an incredibly talented community, and I'm curious, are these artists that need to make money, or this is part of their livelihood? What kind of prices do they go for?
Yeah, so that's a really good question, actually. We do have a mixed bag, obviously. The last census that we did of our community, we got a mix of students, we have young professionals, we have hobbyists, we have professionals who are just doing this as a way to keep creating and stay creative. It's kind of like a writing prompts type deal for visual art, right? But the different prices is a fantastic model, because you can decide whether or not a contest is something that you want to go for. You can see different submissions, you can get inspired by those. You can say, hey, like this prize and the amount of winners, that really floats my boat. I think I'll give this a shot. And we'll be rolling out our reputation system very, very soon, which will allow people to passively earn crypto just by interacting with our platform.
And I also read, I think it was Creaticles was selected as one of 8 of the most promising projects in CoinList seed batch for the fall last year, out of a field of over 500 crypto projects. I mean, you must be incredibly proud, but what did that achievement mean to you?
Absolutely. The achievement was just a way of verifying that we were on the right path. We saw that these were issues that needed to be addressed in the community, both giving artists a space and the lack of custom NFTs. But being chosen out as one of 8 out of 500 is just an incredible opportunity. It gave us a platform to do our second raise. It got our voice out there, and we were able to partner with a lot of incredible projects off of that.
And of course, in any crypto, blockchain, or NFT podcast, it's almost the law to talk about partnerships and roadmaps and everything. So can you tell the listeners more about Creaticles' partnership with Fantom and what other milestones are in store for this year?
Yeah, so Fantom, we partnered with a couple months ago. We're super excited about that. Fantom is known for, their amazing DeFi, their staking, and they partnered with us to really give their NFT community a boost. And we are looking for a huge partner as well to give us that exposure, to get our name recognition out there. And to really start on our journey of being blockchain agnostic. Our first mission, being available to all artists to nurture their careers is only possible if we're available to everyone, everywhere, right? And Fantom was really the first big step of that. We just finished up the first stage of our profile picture contest for the official Fantom Ghouls NFT collection. So this is where we had our community and their community send in base images of what they wanted the Fantom Ghouls NFT to look like. And now we just started the assets part of that, which is the second part of the competition, where you kind of just dress up the base profile picture.
And I also recently read, I think Creaticles recently announced a charity NFT contest in aid of the top 7 for Ukraine. I think it was all designed to support Ukrainians impacted by the ongoing war. But can you expand and tell me a little bit more about that initiative and how important that is to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned that our dev teams are all over the world. We actually have the dev team that's been working on our landing page on creaticles.com is from Ukraine. And it's obviously a very, very scary time for them and everyone in the region. And we just wanted to give back. We wanted to raise awareness to this thing. Traditional media is one of those things where they grab onto whatever gets the most eyeballs, right? That's how they work. That's how they've always worked. And nowadays, if you look around, there's almost nothing mentioning the Ukrainian war, right? Yeah. And the stuff that they're going through with their people. And we wanted to use this as an opportunity to remind people of what's going on and to be able to support them. And I'm really, really excited about the contest and the cause.
And although this is a tech podcast and we're talking about NFTs today, one thing that really stands out from talking to you today, and a word that we've both mentioned 4 or 5 times, is community. How important is that community that you've built to you guys and what you're building and where you're heading?
Absolutely. The community is everything. It's super cliche. You always hear artists talking about it. You hear celebrities talking about it. But without the community, we can't achieve this. The community has been with us every step of the way, from the public raise to submitting incredible pieces of art to submitting request ideas, right, for different features, and just being there and supporting the team while we work to push this out. Yeah, it's honestly incredible. And we wouldn't be able to get it done without our amazing community.
And I do sympathise with you somewhat because not so much the dark side or the frustrating side of what you guys are doing there is your community are so passionate and they want regular updates on everything. And I suspect that you're regularly locked down to NDAs, which prevents you from sharing those updates. And although we've offered an overview of what you're doing at Creaticles today, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to put you in a difficult spot here. Are there any teasers that you can offer any loyal members of your community that are just listening patiently to the end, hoping to find some kind of little rumor or teaser? Is there anything you can leave us?
Yes, absolutely. We've been talking about the reputation system for a while, and we are on lockdown on what we can and cannot say. But just as a little teaser, we do have some big things coming up that will reward the people that are genuinely trying to improve themselves and get better at art and are loyal members of our community. So be on the lookout for that.
I think that was enough to set Telegram, Discord and Reddit communities passionately debating what you've just said there. But before I let you go, for anyone listening, just wanting, actually, I'm going to do the option thing on. Sorry, apologies for that. So before I let you go, though, I always like to begin the podcast talking about your origin story, what put you on this path. And I like to finish as we come full circle, asking you to leave something for everybody listening. And by that, I mean a personal note of inspiration. So if I was to ask you about a book, possibly that has inspired you, that we can add to an Amazon wish list, what would you recommend that book be?
Absolutely. I'm in the middle of reading The 5 Mistakes Every Investor Makes and How to Avoid Them. This is by Peter Mallouk. He runs one of the most successful investing firms in the US. I think he's been named #1 investor like 3 years in a row or something like that. He's really incredible and is up there with the likes of Warren Buffett, JP Morgan. The biggest takeaway out of this is don't try to time the market, which is a very, very simple takeaway. And this is something I mentioned earlier on in our call. But this is super applicable to the crypto space as well. People try to sell high and buy low, right? That's the standard advice. But that advice is actually very, very misleading because no one is able to time that, right? You can sell and then it'll skyrocket, or you can buy and it'll keep climbing. They did the math. It's an incredible book to read, and they include all the sources as well. But the best thing to do, the best thing to do is just ignore it. Honestly, invest in things that you believe in and then ignore it, because over the long term, it will go up. You will get your bag. It's just ignoring it in the short term downturns. So
in 8 years of doing this, I've only just learned that lesson. So thank you so much for that one after trying to time the market for so long. I needed to, where were you 10 years ago when I needed you? Oh, man. Well, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. I love chatting with you.
Having me.
But before I let you go, for anyone just wanting to find out more information about Creaticles, maybe they want to check out and join your community and find out more, what's the best starting point for everything?
Yeah, please. The best place to start is to follow our Twitter. It's twitter.com/Creaticles, CREATICLE. And that's where we'll be posting all of our updates. We'll be posting semi-regular Medium posts as well on the status of our product and our roadmap. And we'll be giving updates straight from the mouths of the devs as well as the business team. So any big partnerships we have coming up, any big updates, you can find all of those on our Twitter.
Well, as you leave me today, I suspect there's people rocking back and forth as we speak, despite having a few heavy losses, saying, I believe in the tech. I believe in the tech. I think that'll be the new mantra for everyone. But thank you so much today for coming on, talking about your origin story, everything that you're doing, the NFT contests, etc. I wish you the best of luck for the future. I'd love to stay in touch and see where this leads. But more than anything, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hopefully, if you've ever said the words, I really want to create an NFT, or I want to create something really cool, but guess what? I'm not creative. I haven't got the skills to do it. I'm not a graphic designer, and those long list of excuses that you keep hearing. Or maybe you're a creative that wants to sell your services and help solve that problem. For me, Creaticles ticks so many boxes, and it was great to hear more about what they're doing there. But over to you listening, if you've got anything you'd like to add to this conversation, record an audio message on your smartphone and just email it over to me at techblogwriter@outlook.com. We'll play that on another episode. If you've got a question or anything you'd like to discuss, or even come on the podcast, whatever it is, I've got an open door policy. So email me, techblogwriter@outlook.com. DM me on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, just @NeilC.Hughes, and we'll keep this conversation going. But that's it for today's episode. So today was all about custom NFT marketplaces. But now it's time to spin the wheel, because tomorrow's going to be a completely different topic. And where this wheel stops, that will determine what that topic will be. But to find out where it stops, I'm going to have to ask you to join me again, where I'll be mooching in your podcast at the same time, same place tomorrow. But more than anything, just a big thank you for stopping by and listening. And until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thank you for listening to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast with Neil C. Hughes. Remember, technology works best when it brings people together.